Hey folks, Matt Sharp here with another Pacific Angler Friday Fishing Report. We're filming for the beginning of May, so if it's nowhere near the beginning of May, click up here. This is a link to all the Friday Fishing Reports. We do it most weeks, so I should have something more up to date for you. May is a darn cool month for fishing, but we're also having some interesting phenomenon, we'll call it, where the weather is off its game, and that's actually making things better almost right across the board. We're going to talk about lake fishing because it's been reasonably warm up there and lakes are icing off fast. I've got ice off reports all the way pushing up to Williams Lake now, as well as the fishing associated. Sterling's been out, Jay's been out. I'm going out next weekend. A bunch of the folks have been getting on the water and putting fish on the board, so I'm going to share with you what we've heard there. And we've also got a really cool sounder piece that I want you guys and girls to tune in on. Now, if you'd asked me 10 years ago, do you have a sounder on your lake boat? I wouldn't have been too worried about it. Wouldn't have been an issue. Nowadays, with the technology and the relative price of these units, I feel almost naked without a sounder when I am indicator lake fishing or just lake fishing in general. At the back end of the report, I'm going to go over this article with you with some really cool shots of sounder stuff. We're going to talk about frequencies. We're going to talk about beam angles, all this kind of stuff that's probably been way too confusing to tackle before, but it's becoming simple and it's becoming worth considering if you are a hardcore lake guy or girl. We'll talk about that at the back end of the report. You want to tune in and you want to tune into Jay's article on that. With that in mind, there's a cool promotion. Sounders usually don't go on sale, but right now there is a Lowrance promotion on some of the units that we really recommend for lake fishing, where it's $50 to $100 US discount at the till. And so details at the back end of the report, details in the written version of the report. Check it out if you don't have a sounder and you've been thinking about it, or you're thinking about an upgrade, or you just want to use the one you have a little bit better. Now, sturgeon fishing is the other one that's doing really well right now. We've got some fun video stuff from us out in our boat sturgeon fishing, and there's going to be some really cool opportunities to get out for guided trips in the Lower Fraser here soon. But Ethan in the written report this week has a bank fishing sturgeon report. How he goes out on the Lower Fraser. The kid goes out every night and blows out his arms every night. Last night he got like a 7.8 or a 7.10. I can't remember how long the fish was, but it was huge for a bank caught fish. He's going to show you his simple setup, how he rigs everything, how he runs Oolikins. If you thought about heading out 20 minutes from your house and doing that gig, it is super fun and highly recommended. On the cutthroat front, it continues. Andre's slowing his game down. I've been talking to him a bit. He thinks it's sort of getting over, but I've heard as the fry push towards the ocean, some of the ocean spots, meaning mouth of creeks, are picking up, so that's worth looking at, and it's still not a bad kick at the can up the Harrison Way. The rivers have not started to rise too hard yet. We're gonna look at that in the river section. Squamish, Vedder, I'm gonna lot them together because they should be way past their prime, but they're still doing okay. We really look for the first heat of the year to blow these rivers out, and we sort of stop thinking about them, but winter keeps dragging her heels into spring right now, and the cooler weather has not pushed the rivers out hard, and I've been hearing some pretty darn good reports up that way, so it's still well worth a look over the next 2 weeks. We're going to look at the weather and see when that might change. All right, lastly, cool product front, I got to talk about a couple products. I've got hook and vise hats back in the store for the first time in months, and the designs are really cool, highly recommended. Come on down, I'll show up some pictures of what we got in stock. The designs are wicked. They're all really solid designs this year. Thanks Noel for dropping those off, and for all you Star Wars addicts out there, may the 4th be with you. It's a couple days late now, but Eric has some hilarious stickers. If you guys don't know who Eric is, Riverwalker, he's a really amazing artist. He helps us out at the shop, and we have all his stickers. He's got really cool saltwater stickers, really cool fly fishing stickers, but he did these fun lightsaber fly rod stickers. They're a limited edition, coming out of the shop. We got a few left. If you guys want to see more reports like this and you're new to here, hit subscribe, hit the like button. Let's get into this. All right, thanks for tuning in. Cheers, everybody. Rum and Coke night tonight. So, we're going to talk about weather first because it's weird. I'm actually hopeful that we get some warm weather, but I'm also kind of not hopeful. It's funny, it's sort of up in the air. Some fisheries will end when we get that warm weather. I'll just pull up Vancouver for an example. But when it loads here, you're going to see it's going to be rainy all weekend, which is probably not a bad thing for our local river fisheries. It's weird to say that this time of year. You're looking at just barely in the double digits with 11s, 12s, 11s, and then it should get nice next week. So we're hopeful for that. I'm going to throw it out to the 14-day because I think this is really important. And so when we look at that, you can see here really clearly we're way below seasonal averages, but things are going to start poking up. Now, I forecast this, I believe it was last week. I said, hey, sort of around the 12th to the 15th, we might see this rise. And it looks like they pushed it even farther out. So like 15th, 16th, we're going to see like high teens, not even 20s, but high teens. Now that should get freshet going. And what is freshet? It's when all the snow that build up that you guys were skiing on all winter long dumps down, washes all our rivers out, and pretty much makes our rivers, I won't say unfishable, but a darn challenge and not A-game locations for the month of May, June into July. And so my prediction is we'll still be fishing some of the fisheries like the Vedder, the Harrison, and the Squamish right out into next week, if not the week after. But keep your eyes on water levels. Watch them as they rise. You're going to start seeing day rises and then night drops, day rises and night drops as that snow melt ramps up. But if you can hit it on the day before things get too dirty to go fishing, it's usually some of the best fishing of the year. Now, it comes with some caveats with this coming so late. The Vedder obviously has some regulations that have changed. It's fly only. I've got links in the description. Look at Gavin's report for the exact details. You can't go out there with a float rod and row right now, but you might still consider a fly rod in the lower section of the river. And then the Squamish as well has a similar caveat. You're still allowed to fish everywhere, but we do ask if you do hook a steelhead to treat it with the utmost respect. There's still going to be fresh fish pushing into both systems, more on the Squamish than the Vedder, but there are going to be some old fish in there. So if you get so lucky to catch one of these unicorns, please release them really, really gently. And the bull trout fishing and the cutthroat fishing should be good as well because the fry are still pushing down. On the Harrison front, still good. Andre's slowing down out there. He says it's been not as good on the Harrison and the Stave as it was last week. But I want you guys to start thinking about farther down where those fry are going. Creek mouths, areas closer to the ocean. As those fish push down, there can be some really cool cutthroat fishing if you put boots to ground, spend some time on the water, and it's a cool one. So let's look now at kamloops because that's where most of us are looking. We should all be looking to lake fishing, and we've been lucky on their 14-day trend. They've actually had like average, I won't say below average temperatures, a little bit below when you look at it. I'm corrected. Things have been warming up consistently. Now, almost all of the lower elevation lakes around Kamloops and Merritt are iced off and fishing really well. We're now hearing reports in the Williams Lake area of low elevation lakes coming off. I recommend taking a look at Sterling's report last week or this week, or check out the Fly Guys. Throw them a donation to the Cancer Society if you want to dial that in, or use the trick with the satellite footage. Look a few reports back if you want that one, but you can literally see satellite image per day to find out if your lake is iced off. But yeah, reports have been great. You're in an interesting time right now. If you can catch a lake in good weather right after it's iced off, it's phenomenal. If you catch it in crappy weather, windy, gross, cold, rainy, it's still going to be a challenge usually. And then we're going to see turnovers, and then we're going to see it pick up again. You got to watch out right now of catching a lake on turnover because it will be crappy for sort of like 4 to 11 days, at least in my window. But once you catch after that, it'll be really on. We're hearing good chronomid hatches starting already, but they are obviously small. That's normal for this time of year. We've got a bunch more details in the written version of the report. Okay, let's talk sounders. Sounders are funny. It was always the joke that you didn't need to buy a sounder. Guys would spend a gargantuan amount of money, 10 years ago on a sounder, and it really wouldn't do much. And you had those goofy little fish pictures that you couldn't tell if they were fish or not. Well, a lot of things have changed. And I'm not sure if it's the anglers have become more educated or the sounders have come better. I think it's really a combination of both, but we're starting to understand that there's different sounders for saltwater versus freshwater. It has to do with the frequencies, has to do with the depth penetration, has to do with the beam angle. But when you get it dialed, you can get some really clear pictures of what was happening. Even on a cost-effective sounder, if you know how to tweak it, you're going to see lines, you're going to see where the fish are, you're going to see the depth, which is hypercritical. But we use it for literally drifting a lake and finding where the fish are. In our boat with our sounder right now, if you're on a spot indicator fishing and you're not seeing fish underneath the boat, you're usually not catching them. Flip it around, you're seeing fish under the boat, you're usually catching them. It can be as night as day as sitting in a spot, not seeing anything under the boat, hooking no fish, moving 40 feet, 50 feet, 60 feet over, maybe even a little less, and all of a sudden there's fish under the boat and bobbers are going down left, right, and center. Without that sounder, you really wouldn't have that sort of indicator and confidence booster. And it's common that when we start, we just wind drift big sections of the lake, blind casting with a sinking line and sort of a searching pattern, but we're really watching the sounder to see if we can see a pattern there and a spot where we're consistently getting arches / lines running across the sounder telling us that there's fish home. And then it's worth setting up shop, setting up those indicators, setting up different presentations right on the fish. So Jay goes over it all in the written version of the report. I want you to check it out. It's last week's report. I'm going to link it in the description, or just go to last week's fishing report, read it. It's a really cool article that's really going to allow you to sort of think about frequencies and stuff like that. This may have confused the heck out of you. It's on a beginner level, but it's going to get you in the game. And then with that in mind, Lawrence has a sale right now, and sounders don't go on sale. There's not much money in them, so there's not a lot of room for discounts. But right now they have a promotion where I believe it's like $50 or $100 US against a purchase of a couple of the units that we actually really recommend for lake fishing. So I want you guys to call in, ask for my guys that are electronics experts on the floor, and they're going to be able to walk you through what you might have, what you might want, what you might need, and really get you dialed in on that front. I highly recommend it. All right, last but not least, I got this fun little sturgeon piece. You guys might have seen it. We just literally slapped together 2 days worth of footage. This is 2 days. This isn't like 10 days of outing. This is 2 days of footage slapped together. Some fun jump videos. This is from a boat, but Ethan's having this kind of fishing right now from shore, so you definitely want to check it out. I'm going to put links to that guy here. And as always, you want to see more fishing reports, consider hitting the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'm going to catch you in 2 weeks.